Hey everyone, it is Classic Tabletop RPG Friday with our first classic look at combat in Gamma World. Let's go. Welcome to RPG Elite if this is your first time coming to the channel, because this is the place where we put the RP back into RPG. We give you tools, tips, and tutorials with some real talk about the tabletop RPG culture. I'm going to keep it short and sweet today because we've got a lot of meat in between here for this video. And when you hear combat in these series, as far as videos go, that means we are getting towards the end. It's the second to last thing that I do, with the very last thing that I do being a 4-hour one-shot session going over all those lovely things that we went over in the series in our deep dives. I love these deep dives. These videos take me a whole lot longer than what I expect, but I'm getting better just a little bit. So let me get off of here so you guys can experience the combat of first edition Gamma World. And then I'll see you on the other side.
Great. There's a storm moving in. Looks like it's red rain clouds. That means I need to find some place to lay low until it passes, or I'm looking at growing a third eye, extra leg, or God knows what by morning. I wonder how the others are doing. I'm not sure how those Arks knew where our camp was. Probably smelled us out. Us being such a small group, we must have seemed like easy pickings, and they were right. We all got scattered in that nonsense. I just hope they make it to the settlement. Hey, what have we here? Fantastic. Looks like some kind of, old craft or something? Perfect place to lay low until the storm passes. Wait, something in there? I thought I saw some movement. Okay, so that is how Miribaldo ends up here on this map here in Foundry. And he's working against the clock since the storm is moving in, so whatever he is gonna do, he better do it quick. Now, with all of our deep dives, we're going pure. You guys should know this by now if you have watched any of my other videos, and what that means is that we are going to follow exactly what is in the core book as far as rules go. And if there's something that's not covered that we need to adjudicate, then we'll do it on the fly. The first order of business then in Gamma World First Edition is determining who has the element of surprise if applicable. So we do this by rolling 1d6. If the result is a 1 or 2, that side is surprised. If the roll is tied or neither side was surprised, the side with the higher roll has first strike, or they go first in the round. Obviously, a side that is surprised may not take any action that round, and the side who has first strike will probably get a bonus of some kind. Depends on the situation. Now, in our scenario here, Miribaldo does not have to roll for surprise. He already knows something is in the vessel. So he's just going to move in slowly with his crossbow ready and try to get a better read on what's inside. Now, as Providence would have it, and to make things simple, I'll say as he gets closer, he sees there are 2 Arks in the vessel, since the door is opened halfway. Now, Arks in Gamma World are canine humanoids, and they are not nice. And these 2 are too concerned with anyone trying to sneak up on them as they search inside. So armed with this information, Miribaldo decides he is going to try to shoot at the closest one. So let's roll for surprise for them. So I got my macros all done here. I'm going here at the bottom. We're going to roll the 6-sided die and see if they are surprised. Uh-oh. It looks like somebody is surprised. I'm just going to roll for both of them at the same time here. So now we're going to move on to what Miribaldo does. In order to see what Miribaldo needs to hit, we have to consult the physical attack matrix table. Now, this table is based on the classic THAC, or to hit armor class, which is what that means, concept. So there are two tables, tables 1 and 2. Table 1 is the one you'll be referring to the most. This is used when a character attacks with a weapon. Table 2 is when an NPC attacks with something other than a weapon, like claws or beak or just punching you in the face, really, even though you probably could use table 1 for that. On the left-hand side is the armor class of the target. For reasons that make no sense to me until this day, the lower armor classes are better. Now, this changes as you get into later editions, thank the Lord. At the top of this table is the weapon class of the attacker. To attack, a character rolls 1d20. To determine the number needed to hit, you find the armor class and cross-reference it with the weapon class of the attacker. This will give you the THAC, or to hit number. With Miribaldo, the Arks have an armor class of 4. To determine his weapon class, we have to consult the weapon class table. You gotta love these tables, folks. Miribaldo has a crossbow, which is 9. When we cross-reference this on the physical attacks matrix table, we see he needs a 14 or higher in order to hit. Two things we need to consider before making the attack roll in our scenario here. The first is the effective range of the crossbow. And to determine this, we have to consult the weapons damage table. One more table, y'all. Actually, there's another one. Ranged weapons have 2 range categories. Now, this simplicity is good. It has effective range and it has maximum, measured in meters. Now, effective range is the safe zone, so you incur no penalties there. Maximum range is up to twice the effective range, but suffers a penalty of +5 to your THAC target number. Here we see that a crossbow has an effective range of 120 meters. And since I'm in the US, y'all, we gonna do this in feet and round off. There is a metric conversion table at the back of the core book, where you can just Google it if you want to do that. But basically, 3.28 is how many feet are in 1 meter. So you take that, multiply it by 120, it's roughly 394 feet. Maximum range would be 395 to the upper maximum of 788 feet. However, since Miribaldo has surprise, I will say his THAC is going to be lowered by 1 level. You go down on the matrix to lower the difficulty, up to increase it. So in this case, he's going to need a 13 to hit. Now, first thing we're going to do, and let's measure first for that range, make sure he's in range. So the way to do this in Foundry is just to make sure that you click on your character token, and this basically is letting you know what he can see. And then you just press Control and then you measure out. And so he's 115 feet. He's well within range. And so let's see how well he does with his attack, this surprise attack, which he needs a 13 or higher. So I'm going to do here, I'm just going to click on this like that. We're going to change this to a 20-sider. And we just going to roll him. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, well, he misses his attack. And of course, as you might imagine, the Arks now know that he's there as a crossbow bolt shoots his way into this pod. Y'all. And they're like, what? Okay, so in our scenario, there are 2 Arks. One Ark is a bruiser, and he likes to get up on people and beat them to death with a club or bite them. Now, the other Ark likes to keep at a distance and will support the alpha or the melee one, so to speak. Now, Arks carry clubs, and they have 3 mutations: telekinesis, life leech, and weather manipulation. However, before they do anything, they have to close the distance between them and Miribaldo. Combat movement in Gamma World First Edition has no hard and fast rules, most of it being arbitrarily left up to the GM. Now, this can make it a bit of a burden to keep track of each scenario, especially if you have more than a couple encounters during a session. So they kind of lay out as a base movement for humanoid type creatures of 12 meters per combat round. So we're going to use that for Miribaldo. However, the movement rate for the Arks is 15 meters, and that's about 50 feet. And I'm also going to use the 3rd edition rule that a character can move up to half of one's full movement and still do something in a combat round. So that's going to be 20 feet for Miribaldo. Okay, so we've got that set. Now, in this round, the Alpha Ark, or the Melee Ark, is going to close in to attack Miribaldo with his club, while the other is going to follow right behind him. Now, they're not going to make it to Miribaldo in this round, so Miribaldo is going to still just fire off shots, willy-nilly here. And he's probably going to get off 2 shots before he switches his tactics, and he's also going to be moving back half of his movement to put a little bit more distance between them so he can get off these shots. So let's see how all of this transpires. So he gets to, once again, I'm going to click on him, and he is going to take a shot at the Arks, and it's going to be the first Ark. So let's go ahead, let's move these guys first. And again, I'm just going to measure 50 feet, which is about right there, and he'll move, and then I'll do the same thing here. 50 feet. Oops, right there. Move. Okay. So both of them have moved, which means Miribaldo's going to get off that shot. Measure out here. So he's going to go. And we're going to see if the shot connected. And we'll go ahead and roll a 20-sider. And remember, he doesn't have the element of surprise anymore. So now he needs a 14. Dun, dun, dun. It's a fail. Swing and a miss. All right. So they are going to move forward. I'll put him over here. So they're going to move forward another 50 feet. Which is right here. This one's going to move. Oops. Not going to move like that, but he's going to move another 50 feet. Yeah, 50 feet, just about. And the only other thing we have to do now is move back Miribaldo 20 feet. Remember, he was moving backwards to put some distance in between them. That's good enough. And he is going to get off. He's going to have the opportunity to get off a second shot before they're right up in his grill. So let's see what happens as a result. Got to get that 14. It's pretty high on the 20 side. Oh man, thought it was going to be a 20, but he missed. And he missed horribly. Okay, so this is the position that they're in at the combat has started, but not really. But if we take the alpha here or the melee one, and we move him, yeah, he's going to make it. He's going to make it to Miribaldo. The second one, however, and let's turn him around so he's in the right direction. There we go. So the second one, however, is not going to make it. But because he's going to move about right there. So the first one here is going to make it to Miribaldo. And so Miribaldo has to change up some tactics here, folks, because things is getting a little heated up in here. So the next thing that needs to be done is I'm going to add these two to my combat tracker. And just right click. We're going to add them to the combat tracker. Let's open that up and see what's up. Okay. So now we need to roll for initiative. And in order to roll for initiative, you just roll 1d6 for each one. So I'm just going to go up here, click that, and make that first roll for, and there's a 3 for them. Okay. So for this one, since it's old school, I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. And we do the same thing for Miribaldo. See what he gets. Oh, he's going to go first in this round. All right, so since he's going to go first, he's going to take out his sword and use that. So he's going to take out his short sword. He's carrying a short sword, and he's going to use that to attack. Since Miribaldo is switching up weapons here, so we need to consult the weapon class table once again to see what his short sword falls under. And as you can see here, the class for swords is 3. So now we have to go back to the physical attack matrix and cross-reference that with the Ark's armor class of 4. And it looks like we're going to need a 15 to hit. So the number is going up, and things are just not looking good for Miribaldo. But we gonna do it anyway. So let me go ahead over here. Let me click on the brother. And he needs a 15. Let's see what happens. Oh, man. Life is rough. Pray hard. So, that doesn't work out so well for Miribaldo. All right. So now it's time. I'm just doing that because I'm OCD. Now it's time for the Ark. The Ark is going to, and let's do this. Let's do this real quick, since I already had it out. Okay, so that was Miribaldo's attack, but now it's the Ark's attack. And so let's set it up right here. And he's going to try to hit Miribaldo upside the head. So let's see how well the Ark does. And we'll just go here, go here, go here. Let's roll him. Well, he ain't doing too well either. And let's go back to that attack matrix once again so we can see what it needs to hit Miribaldo. Now, it has a club. So let's go back first to the weapon class table. And a club has a weapon class of 1. So let's go back to that physical attack matrix. And Miribaldo has a 5 for his armor class. So that means it needs a 14 in order to hit Miribaldo. So that's pretty high too. So now we're still at a stalemate. But the other Ark has now gotten into range for this next round. Okay, so now we've made it to the next round. And in this round, the Alpha Ark will continue to try and beat Miribaldo senseless with its club, while Miribaldo will continue to try to poke the Ark with his short sword. Now, the second Ark is going to make it to Miribaldo, or he's going to make it close enough to him to do what he wants to do. And that will be to use his telekinesis to try and lift Miribaldo off of his feet. So the first thing I'm going to do is add this Ark to the combat. And there he is. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll initiative for everyone. So, first is Miribaldo. And I don't necessarily have to do it like that. I could just go click like this and then roll down here. I mean, it's preference. You know, I'll just double click and do it like this because it's easier for me. Ooh. And how about this one? Wow. Miribaldo is in trouble. This one is going to try to hit him over the head with a club. So let's see if he is successful. Uh-oh. It appears as if the Ark has got in the first blow. So the next thing that we are going to have to do is go to the weapons damage table. So if we're looking at the weapons damage table and we're looking at a club, it looks like it does 1d6 damage. Welcome to the club. So we're just going to roll 1d6 here for the damage. Oh, it's only 1 point. So he didn't do that. He didn't do that much damage to Miribaldo. Wacka. It's not that bad. He's okay. So we're just going to take off 1 point here. Not a big deal. So just kind of caught him in the jaw a little bit, something like that. Okay, so we're going to go to the other Ark. I'm going to move him first to about right there. Looks good. Turn him this way. So he's technically, even though they're kind of big, he's technically about 10 feet away. So now it will try to lift Miribaldo off of his feet. Now, the second Ark is using a mental mutation. So you know what that means? It means we're going to have to go to the mental attack matrix. You thought I was kidding when I said that there was another one, didn't you? One more table. It's going to use its mental strength to attack. And that is a 10. If we just click on this, because I've already done all those things ahead of time. So its score is a 10 here. Miribaldo has a chance to resist this attack with his own mental strength of 13. He has a mental strength of 13. So let's go to the matrix to see what he is going to need in order to lift Miribaldo off of his feet. And it looks like he's going to need a 13 to pull this off. So I'm just going to double click right chair. And I don't have any special animation to try to lift him off his feet. I do, but I didn't set it up, so don't worry about it. Let's go ahead and let's see if this Ark will lift Miribaldo off of his feet. Ooh, I thought it was a 17 there for 1 second. And it just didn't happen. Just not gonna happen. All right, so you're getting a basics here, and we've gone over all of the tables that you would need to go over in a combat scenario in Gamma World First Edition.
I have an extra video that I am going to release next week that is a bonus video that should be a part of this, but it's going to be a little bit too long. So I'm just going to release it as a bonus video, and it probably won't be a really long video, probably about 8 minutes or so, but it needs to be included in this because it is a part of combat, but it's the only other thing that you really would need to know. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, now would be the time. Hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you won't miss that video. And also, if you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and crush the like button. Y'all know what to do and how to do it. So a brother has got to go because he's got to get ready for his tabletop RPG session tomorrow. Oh yeah, gonna be playing some of that One Ring. Oh yeah. So if you've got a session this weekend, then happy gaming, y'all. I hope it is a wonderful and blessed session. So until the next time, a brother has just got to say peace and hair grease.